because there's yeah, so it's easier to do because you know, you could create multiple short form content in a short period of time. And it's much more natural for anyone to create podcast style content because you would just be conversing. You don't have to rehearse any script. You don't have to think a lot about what you're going to say, and you rarely just repeat yourself while creating podcast style content. So yeah, it's a win-win for both the people who are watching it and those who are creating it.
Thank you, Karim. And regular, last point here is the regular appearance. So just like we say, for example, you know that in marketing, we have a rule of 7. I always talk about this rule because we are not conscious of it. Sometimes we put so much effort in putting a marketing post or a marketing video and we release it and we expect it. This is an amazing video. This is an amazing post. I'm going to get results, inquiries, and bookings. No, it doesn't work like that. People will see it once, they will like it, but they will not necessarily act on it. Then people will see you twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times is scientifically the optimal number of times that it takes for people to build trust and take action. Think of it yourself. You want to buy a new handbag. You see it once, you don't go and buy it immediately. You see it a second time, a third time, and maybe not always in the same place. So it works even better if your product, your service is appearing in different channels at different times. Ultimately, it will build this kind of reminder, like need and desire in your patient, leading them to take action. So you need to make sure that every time they open Instagram, you're back on it, you're back on it, you're back on it. And maybe they open, I don't know, like TikTok, and then you're on there as well. Or maybe they go online, they search for something and they see you on there. Or maybe they open the email inbox and you're there. Or maybe they get a WhatsApp message from you as well. So this is really optimal marketing mix. It's the standard marketing approach that we want to target people from different channels and repeatedly. So like repeated exposure really is going to create that desire and that action from your clients. So is there any other question at this stage? I have more for you. A common one that we get is, how can I deliver engaging videos? So we know that it takes time, effort, sometimes money to create videos. And then sometimes we get disappointed, you know, like few likes, few engagement, few outcomes. So we want to make sure that we spend our efforts in the best possible way to deliver engaging videos. The answer to this question changes constantly. What people like to see or hear on videos will change from today till 3 months' time. But there are some basics that you need to always think of. Be prepared, write your script. If you are very natural with it and you're comfortable, don't write the script. Be natural, and this works best. But if you're new at it, you need to be prepared. There's no miracles. Be as natural as you can. We don't like to watch somebody who looks nervous, who looks uncomfortable. We're not going to watch this video. It's easier said than done, but we can prepare you with this. We have thought of this, and that's why we have theater coaches, communication coaches who are here to make you shake up your body, be comfortable with your voice, be comfortable with your face, with your script. And this takes practice, and we are here to help you with that. Starting with a hook, we call it. This is the trending word at the moment. Remember, the first impression counts. So the first few seconds of the video is what we call the hook. And the end of the video is what we call the call to action. You need to tell your followers at the end of your video what you want them to do. It seems obvious, but tell them. Comment below for more information. Send us a direct message to inquire about booking an appointment. But there needs to be what we call the call to action. And now let's go back to the hook, and Karim can tell us a little bit more about this hook.
Yeah, the hook is what's going to make people stop scrolling. And it's going to give them a preview of what the content of that video is going to be about. So there's different ways of saying a hook. It could create a negative emotion or trigger curiosity. The idea is that every video that you want to create, you would prepare the hook ahead of time, and that's the only thing that you would need to memorize and say at the beginning. If you're I wouldn't advise to write scripts for videos. Mainly what could be helpful is to write bullet points. So the outline, what are you going to say, like 1, 2, 3, and just memorize the hook at the beginning. And then your video would sound natural. The mistakes that we see in videos is there's no preparation in the hook. So when you're put in front of the camera, you automatically would start with, "Hi, I'm Dr. X," and people, when they see this type of video, they're kind of like formatted at this stage where they would just skip it because they don't want this introduction. So starting with the hook, with the topic immediately, this is what will capture their attention and would make them watch the video. You also mentioned the duration of the video. Sorry, doctor?
So I just got myself. I didn't say anything.
Okay, no worries. So you also mentioned, Servan, the duration of the video is 1 minute. The shorter, the better. The idea is, if whatever is being said is very interesting and there's kind of like a storyline that would make people stay until the end, what you want is for people to watch 100% of your video for Instagram or any other platform to consider it as super valuable, to share it with strangers and grow the reach. So if your video is 10 seconds, it's more likely going to hit that 100% viewership versus a 1-minute video. However, we have seen videos that are longer go viral as well. That's because whatever is being said, for example, if it's a checklist, the hook could be, here's 10 things you need to know about X, and the last one is the most important one. So that would get the viewers to stick around until the end and get that 100% viewership. So there are many ways of doing things. The idea is that whatever you're saying needs to be brief, straight to the point. You don't elaborate on every point. If there are certain conditions, for example, medical conditions that you want to share, just list them. There's no need to explain each one in one video that would make it super long. These are some best practices for creating content on social media.
We're of course condensing our tips right now because there's so much that we can share, but these are like the most important insights. Thanks so much, Karim. Let's move on. So what is the right budget for my marketing? This is $1 million question. And of course, there is no right or wrong, and so many parameters will affect the answer to that question. First thing I would say is a lot of doctors, I will be honest, they just throw a number. It's not like a number that is based on the market rates or the actual cost of the agencies, of the freelancers. They're coming up usually with a number that suits their budget, which is fair enough. It has to start here. We all have a predetermined disposable income, and we all know what we are willing to spend on marketing or not. But sometimes I say better like not to spend anything than spend the wrong amount as well. So sometimes you have an amount in mind and it can be like 3,000 or 5,000. And then you're trying to just find a solution that fits around that number that you had in mind. And sometimes maybe some doctors have chosen in the past some agencies based on the number they had in their head, rather than choosing the agency based on the goal that they wanted. So remember that in the beginning, we said, if you want to elevate your personal brand, first rethink what is your goal. So the goal of elevating that brand, because elevating a brand is so generic. What is the actual concrete outcome you want out of it? And then make sure that agency or that freelancer or your own spend that you're doing by yourself, boosting on Instagram, is going to deliver on that goal. So we're not going to give you a number today because, you know, that's not the goal of Invicta Med. Like, we're not here to tell you the right amount to spend on your marketing, but just a few pointers in terms of parameters to think about if you're going to spend on marketing. Is the cost will vary hugely, whether you work with an agency or whether you work with a freelancer. The agencies, they are established companies with a trade license, with recognized expertise, usually with more than one person working there, and they have recognized expertise in the market. Freelancers work completely differently. They're usually marketing people or video people, videographer that maybe used to work in a clinic and now have decided to go freelancer because they've seen or learned how things work, and then they just work by themselves. So they don't have costs, right? They don't have a trade license cost, they don't have employee costs. So this will be much cheaper, but sometimes the quality will be less, or not necessarily always affecting the quality, but affecting maybe the support that they will give you, right? So they might just come and with a camera, film and edit, and they will give you a few tips on the videos, but they're not going to be here to help you think of the best hook. They're not going to be here to make you think of the best caption when you're posting the video. So it all depends on where you're at yourself, with your own knowledge, with your own confidence, and with your own budget. Of course, whether you just rely on organic, which means like natural engagement, or whether you are boosting your ads, this will have a big difference. And whether, for example, you spend on Google or you spend on Instagram, this also is not the same budget. Google tends to cost quite a bit more than Instagram if you want to have effective results as well. So these are just a few pointers. Maybe Karim wants to add a few things to this.
Yes, I think you described it pretty well. I would say working with a freelancer is like, okay, so there's do it yourself. So you create your content and post it, or done with you, which is when you're doing it with a freelancer. So, and in most cases, the client or the doctor would be doing most of the effort, and the freelancer is there to execute. And there's done for you, which is when you're working with an agency, there's a full team who is taking care of every single aspect of the content creation and management of your online presence. So that would be the difference. I like to compare it to when you're designing your home. So you can either shop all the furniture by yourself, or you could get some help by one person, or you can just hire a company that can arrange everything for you and finish it quickly in a good way.
Nice comparison, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Got another question, which is how can I convert inquiries? Because I always put the two terms together, sales and marketing. Marketing by itself is not always enough. So you're building all that interesting content, you're maybe spending time, spending money, using an agency, using a freelancer. It then goes on your Instagram, it then gets a lot of likes, great. It then gets a lot of inquiries, even better. Think of it right now, if you haven't. Is it going to go as direct messages? And are you going to answer all those messages? And are you able yourself as a doctor to give that patient who's inquiring the most convincing answer to get them to book? And are you able to convert an inquiry into an appointment? This is not always easy. So from the point of getting the inquiry to the point of getting the patient to come to the clinic, there's also another process that has to happen. Sometimes it might be just like simple question and answers, and the patient is just having like reasonable questions. And then once they get the answer from you, they will decide to make an appointment. But there are, of course, like some sort of sales tricks that can also help, patients to book that appointment, to come to the clinic. And maybe with time, as you get more and more inquiries, you might want to have like a patient coordinator or your receptionist who's also helping you to handle those inquiries and to follow up with those inquiries in due time, because you're going to build up a lot of inquiries. And, you know, it's about not neglecting the older inquiries as well. Maybe someone inquired 2 months ago, but there's still what we call a valid inquiry, a valid prospect. They might not have needed the treatment at the time, change their mind, but they need to be what we call retargeted, re-engaged. So there's a whole process that comes into place for that, and it's not the topic of today's conversation, but I just wanted to bring that point to your attention. And also, like, we know that when we are getting inquiries, whatever they are, again, in the medical field or wherever, the key is to answer them quickly. So this is like proven scientifically as well. The quicker you answer the inquiry that you receive, the more likely that person will be taking action. So if you've put all those efforts in your marketing, it's really, really important to monitor that inbox, to monitor maybe like incoming calls to the clinic, to monitor like WhatsApp messages, because if you're on it immediately, your chances to convert and book that patient are much higher. But at the same time, don't neglect and forget the older inquiries. It's about reactivating them, scrolling all the way down to your inbox and going back to those older messages and checking in again with that patient every now and again.
Servane, if I may just share a hack for inquiries.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, so there are different types of inquiries. Some of them are related to price, for example. When people ask about price, we found that the most effective way would be to then ask them to share their phone number so that the clinic can get in touch with them and discuss price. Because in most cases, it would be inappropriate for doctors to talk about prices. And this is usually what happens at the clinic. So whatever process is at the clinic, just mimic it on social media. Usually doctors, you know, consult and talk about the treatment and answer questions versus discuss prices. So price, redirect it to the clinic receptionist. When they ask about their personal conditions, this is excellent, because now they're investing time in sharing something personal and expecting a kind of like a personalized answer. So the best answer would be not to say, well, I have to see you to do a consultation and then I would know. It could be the fastest way and most efficient way that would start building that rapport through social media would be to send a voice note. So just a quick voice note. This is like number one answer that would make someone, you know, trust you and like you more. And it could be just like maybe another question about, oh, so you're saying this, did you check this and that? So that creates kind of like a back and forth. That should be quite limited, not very long, you know. And once they start sharing more information, then you would say, well, based on this, then we'd need to do a physical check for us to assess. Or let's say they're asking about Botox. When was the last time you did Botox? Then they'll give you an answer. And then what are you looking for? You talk about their desires. I'm looking to do this area and this area. So they become a bit more invested. These are kind of like micro commitments for them to take action and book an appointment and then show up and visit you. So that's how we are handling the inquiries of our doctors and clinics, and it's quite effective.
Interesting. So yeah, these are like, in a way, like what you're talking about, Karim, these are like sales tricks as well that we use when we want to convert inquiries. So asking open questions, as you rightly mentioned, so not like yes, no questions, but trying to engage with the person who's first contacted you to inquire about your service, rather than just providing an answer. Always end your answer with a question so that you make sure that they get back to you. Pricing is a very good point, Karim. Of course, it's always a sensitive question. and we always advise doctors not to discuss pricing. And of course, with so many like price wars going on in the market for aesthetics, then it needs to be tackled properly and ideally not by the physician. So thanks for those tips as well. Okay. Oh, and then, so this concludes our slides for the marketing. And of course, as you know, at Invictamed, we're not just providing you support for marketing, we're providing you support for business solutions as well. I wasn't sure like who the audience would be today. So one of my slides was one of the common questions I always receive: shall I open my own clinic? And I think why I put that question here is because when doctors take on the journey of building their personal brand, you know, sometimes the goal, as I said, what is the goal? Very often the goal could be that I want to build my personal brand so that ultimately I start my own clinic. So, you know, it's a natural evolution and it's a natural project and vision that we hear about from our members. And it's a great one. It's a great aspiration. You know, I think for a doctor to have their own clinic, it's again a natural evolution. There are so many things to take into account if you're in the process of building your personal brand to perhaps open your own clinic in the future. Then, you know, there are so much advice we can give you, and we are planning other sessions on that. But here I just put like 3 very brief pointers. Like they seem very simple, but I can expand a little bit on it. Is the concept. Like I would say like this is key. Like we see a lot of projects from doctors who want to open clinics but don't have unique concepts. I think in today's market, it's very essential that you offer something niche, something different from what is out there, because there are 850 dermatology clinics currently registered under the DHA. So that means that there are opportunities. That means that we live in a thriving city for aesthetic services, as you well know, but the competition is very fierce. And the clinics that succeed the most, in my opinion, are the ones that have, of course, great marketing. This is essential. We just talked about it. A unique concept, either in the services that they offer, not being a jack of all trades, offering everything that all the other clinics are already offering, maybe being more niche, targeting specific concerns. Sometimes it could be, I don't know, for argument's sake, okay, like our clinic focuses on body treatments, our clinic focuses on hair treatments, our clinic focuses on laser technologies. For example, we have a client right now who's opening a clinic and they're an injection bar. So, you know, it's not like a regular clinic. It's going to be more like the hairdresser concept. You come, you just sit in your chair, and then there's other people there, and you get injected all together in the same room. This is a concept that's been done in Canada, for example. So trying to come up with a concept that is unique and niche and different. The location of your clinic is extremely important. I'm sure you've already witnessed it, for example, in the clinic where you're working. We always say location, location, location. So if you have a unique concept, but you're in the middle of some small street in Sharjah, it's probably not going to work as well as if you have a unique concept and you're, let's say, right in the middle of Jumeirah. There are pros and cons to every area, and sometimes it's not always about being in the prime areas, like let's say Jumeirah or Al Wasl. Sometimes like community clinics in neighborhoods can work really well to build actually a more loyal patient base. We've seen some clinics, for example, in Dubai Hills or those places working really well because they're more like community driven, and this makes it easier to retain the patients as well. So this is a very important factor to think about from the beginning. Staff, it sounds like a very plain word on this slide, but what I mean by that is way more than staff. It's your team, the experts. So remember, like what will make the success of your clinic is most likely you, your expertise, but also the team and the people that you hire. So from the front desk to the nurses to the manager, if you have a wonder team, you have a wonder business. So the importance of people, I think nowadays is way more important than the type of technologies that you're going to invest in even, because we see that every clinic is investing in the same technologies. To get the best results, you definitely need the best technologies, but the team is as important as technologies, and we can never praise this enough. So surround yourself with amazing people that are talented and passionate and authentic, very important. So I think this concludes today's session. So it was just over an hour, but hopefully it was helpful to you. I'm sure that there could be so many more questions, but we're going to have, of course, like lots of new exciting sessions coming up in the future. Just a few of them, like this one is recorded. If you want to have access to it and you didn't Google advertising for doctors, you can ask us. On the 14th of May, we have a session with Natasha from the UK, who's talking about implementing effective referral schemes. And then on the 21st of May, there's a session by myself on revamping your Instagram content. And then on the 11th of June, we have a session by Tamara. She's the co-founder of several wellness clinics in Dubai, Kuwait, and Abu Dhabi. And she's going to talk about building and retaining a loyal patient base, whether it's in the clinic or online on social media. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect you with not only actually like marketing experts, but also like successful business owners and clinic owners who have gone through the trials and errors and had some successes and some failures and are willing to share those tips with you. So we hope that this community is really going to be like more and more engaging, because I think till now, like each clinic owner and business owner has been running their own ship and not necessarily like sharing their insights with other doctors or clinic owners. So we're trying to have a mix of clinic owners, clinic managers, but also like marketing experts and business experts willing to educate you. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope this was helpful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other question that we can answer to conclude?
I have a small question. I'm sorry. I start.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, many people actually advised me before to do some, to show some of my personal life or to do some funny videos. But to be honest, for me, I know many doctors do like that in case more followers. I like to keep it professional. So what's your advice in this point?
Yeah, so I'll start. Okay, so I think it's about finding the right balance. Like funny videos with the goal to be funny, for me, are not going to deliver the purpose that you have, which is to build more engagement with your existing followers and more trust, and of course, like more bookings ultimately. However, we know that social media is a social place. So it's very important to remember that, like the goal that we have is to grow our brand, to grow our business. But social media is a social place. So we need to provide content in a way that is relaxed and informal and social. Therefore, sometimes like some kind of lightness or fun can invite itself into the content. But funny videos just for the sake of being funny, in my interest, is not the trend right now, definitely not for doctors and for clinics. But it should be relaxed, informal, and sometimes, like every now and again, you can mix one funny video into the mix, just to kind of like show your personality to the doctors, to the patients. But I think even the trend of those very funny videos, with like funny music, like they're out already, I think, at least for our industry. I don't know, Karim, what's your feedback on that?
Yes, I agree, Servan. I think if we look at it from a perspective where be yourself, show your personality. If you're a funny person when you practice, and you say jokes to make your patients feel comfortable with you, then show this personality in your online presence. Now, there's an Instagram, for instance, you have stories to create this type of content that is more flexible and it requires less editing, and you can show this personality through your stories. dancing and all these. This is like a certain type of content that doctors in the States started creating. It works on TikTok, which is more for entertainment, less serious and less about healthcare. So if you, I think the feedback that you're receiving, doctor, is that people are trying to give you feedback to say, show more of yourself and not be very
Serious.
yes, not look very serious. However, it doesn't mean just go to the other extreme and start dancing and saying jokes on your profile.
No, they mean there is some short videos like they are similar to TikTok style. But for me, I don't find myself in doing that. Even to show my family, show where I go, I don't like where I travel. I don't like this stuff. But many doctors are doing this, like show side of their personal life.
And now
So
they're
it really
doing it.
important.
I'm completely against it. So when we have meetings, everyone knows I'm always very, very loud about it. So we also have to, this is what I'm always saying, we always have to respect our family, we always have to respect our husbands, wives, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So you cannot do a lot. But if you're traveling, right, and there is this, I don't know, it's so sunny, you can just post something like a picture or two or small short video and comment on how
Yeah,
important
like this,
is your
okay.
sun protection.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
like this.
creates
Everybody in our community seems to have the same approach for this, and I think actually this is what's gathering you to be part of the community, is that you are looking for authenticity, you're looking for professional solutions that will build relevant content and quality content. If you're the type of doctor, as Karim said, you know, like some doctors, they're naturally like funny and comedians, and this is their style, and they should show that style on Instagram because it's about authenticity and showing your true personality. But as we say, like also, what's the point of selling something fake, a dream on Instagram, or like not the real side of you? Ultimately, if you want that your followers to come to the clinic, you want to make sure that when they come to the clinic, they meet the same doctor that they heard in Instagram. So
they will get disappointed. They will get disappointed, right? If they want to go for a funny person and you're not as funny in the clinic, they will get disappointed. They will never come back. And in the end, it's very important to keep your own patient base. So if they are used to 2 or 3 jokes that you're saying while injecting, you can post those and they will relate. They will say, oh, yes, it's exactly what happened to me while I was on my fillers or whatever. Or you will be more serious as well. And they can relate, yes, this is my doctor, this is where I'm going.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a funny person in my social life, but in work, I'm very professional, very serious.
Yes, I make it that way on your Instagram. And again, you know, there's something for everybody. Like, thank God we are not all the same and we all have different approach and different preferences. And thankfully, patients have different options and different styles of post and doctors that they will respond to when they go on Instagram. But
you're in Dubai, everyone is different. So whatever you choose, you will find a niche.
Exactly. There is definitely no statistic that says that funny reels from doctors have more engagement and results. So forget that. So
more of the followers. I have in clinic people who are having like 4 or 5 times more followers than me. They are not getting more patients.
Yeah, as well.
They are having 5 times less patients than me. So the numbers on the Instagram don't mean anything.
Yeah, it's not the number of patients, it's the number of followers.
But in case your clinic is doing really good advertisement, right, which is the case for us in Eternal Clinic, when they have any kind of offer, they are proposing different doctors, and then the patients are requesting the profiles of the doctors, and if the profiles gives something that they will like, they will choose you. And then you have them, and then you are serving your own contact, but they have choose you regarding on what they have seen. After, if they are coming back, they are coming back for you. And if you're consistent, it will work.
Yeah.
I think, Dr. Ibtisam, what you could try is, since you're not used to filming yourself, like Dr. Michaela was saying, like if you were, let's say you traveled and you were walking and it's nice and sunny, then it comes in a natural way for Dr. Michaela to take the phone and shoot like a 10-second story while walking and smiling. And so this takes a bit of practice for you to get comfortable seeing yourself on camera. And it doesn't have to be straight taking the Instagram app and going live and showing yourself. You could record yourself with your phone on the camera and then watch it. And if you like it, then you would post it. If you don't like it, you just keep it to yourself and say, okay, I will try another one.
Yeah.
With time, you start becoming a bit more comfortable showing these snippets of your personal life, not too personal, as in like family and kids and things like that, but more of a type of content that could be shared on stories that would create this affinity, and it would make you more personable and more likable by whoever is on social media, which is why they're there at the beginning. It's social. It's not only creating super premium content and putting it out there without, and which would make you look good, but not really build that rapport that would make people like you and then choose you over any other professional.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karim.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Although it was a small group, I feel like it was really a fruitful and interesting session. So thank you to everybody participating. And Dr. Ibtisam, will see you at the Confidence Speaker Bootcamp next week on
Yes, sure.
Thursday. So I think everybody will be there.
Thank you very much.
So thank you so much. Have a lovely day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
You
Looking
also.
forward to
Thank
see
you.
next
Bye.
week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Have a lovely rainy day.
You also.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
How do I get